evening. Thanks for stopping by my channel, Off Grid Living with the Bennetts. I don't know if you watched my previous video. I cut my butcher block countertop. I actually cut out a square in the middle for my sink. Got a double sink going in there. And this is to sort of make my off-grid kitchen look a little nicer, rather than get standard countertops. In this video, I'm going to explain to you how I'm preparing my countertop so it's safe for food, make it food ready. So like I say in my previous video, I cut the center out. It was a bit of a challenge, but we got her done. So in this video, I want to explain to you how I'm preparing it. There's lots of different ways of doing it, but this is the way I chose to do it. So, first thing I did was I sanded it. I sanded it with 120 grit, which is quite a fine sandpaper. It just basically takes that little bit of a shine off, because the shine that was on there was not food ready, safe for the kitchen. So I sanded it with 120 grit, then I wiped it down, and then I re-sanded it with 400 grit, which made it really, really smooth and made it just basically took the shine off. So after that, I put a coat of varnish on. The varnish that I chose was this Butcher Block Oil and Finish. It's basically a food safe varnish, and that's what you need to have. So I put a coat of varnish on. I let it dry. They say 6 hours. I let it dry for 6 hours, and then I took my 120 grit sandpaper. No, sorry. I took my 400 grit sandpaper, and I sanded it just to sort of scuff it up. Then I put another coat on. I left it for 6 hours. Then I turned around and I got my 400 grit sandpaper and I varnished it again, or sanded it again. Then I varnished a third coat, and then I sanded it again. So this now has 3 coats of varnish on it. Now, the first couple of coats, I wiped it on. They say use a rag. I used a rag, but it overlapped. And I found that it just didn't look uniformed. So, after practicing and having some discussions with my wife on how we should do it, this is the method that I'm using now. Some people use a rag, some people use brush, some people use a foam brush. This is the method I'm using. I pour it on. Then I get a rag. I wipe the whole thing so it's uniformed, evenly. Now, if I leave it like this, it'll dry, and some spots will be a little higher than other spots, and it won't just look right. So what I do, I wipe the whole thing really well, making sure that I've got the entire thing covered. And then, after I know I've got the whole thing, the edges, this edge does not need to be done because it's at the back. After I get the whole thing entirely done, I get a second rag. And I wipe it back again. Just to make sure that it's nice and evenly spread. Thusly. And there you have it. That's how fast a coat can be done. I'm not really wiping it off. All I'm doing is wiping the excess off. And I'm wiping it so it's uniformed. Basically, that's totally finished now. That one board. Double check it, make sure it looks good, which it does. Now go to the center board. This is actually the piece that got cut out of the sink. I did waste some of it, threw it away, just to make it the size I wanted. Now, you definitely want to wear rubber gloves while you're doing this. And they say you should wear a mask. And of course, if you get it in your eyes, then you don't want to do that. So you want to be careful with it. The first coat I did actually probably took me 45 minutes to do them all. But now that I'm doing it differently, it's doing a lot faster. Okay. Now what I'm going to do with this piece is I'm going to probably more than likely put felt legs underneath of it. And we're going to use this on the counter. Just to help save the counter a little bit. You can reapply it every few months if you want. And because I'm putting it on thin, like I say, I sand it between coats, but because I'm putting it on thin right now, I don't need to sand it anymore. I believe this here is probably my fourth coat. Once you get the hang of it, it's actually a fairly quick process. It's just getting the hang of how to do it. And like I say, first coat was quite time consuming. Second coat also. And when it dried, it didn't dry evenly. So we had quite a discussion about that, how to do it properly. And we both had our own ideas. And finally, this is the method we came up with. Don't forget to do those edges. So yeah, basically, if you cut into this, then you should be fine because, like I say, it's food safe. bought 2 cans, and I was going to take 1 can back, but then I decided, well, let's do a few coats on here. So I'm doing, probably getting 5 coats on before I'm finished. I'm on my 4th coat now. I got enough of the can to probably do a 5th coat, so I'm going to do 5 coats. And then I think the 2nd can, I'm going to keep it. And I'll save it for, just to sort of go over it every so often. I could have got a standard countertop, but I thought, living off grid, I want something that looks sort of country, off grid style. So that's why I chose to do it like this. We have had homes in the past where we've had granite countertops, but now that we're off grid, I think this is a nice little countertop for our home. Okay. That's that. One last countertop to do. Couple minutes, I'll be done. It's so easy doing this. I bought these countertops at Home Depot. They also sell them at Lowe's, but the ones at Lowe's were 6 feet. And I need an 8-foot countertop. Kitchen cupboards are around 24 inches deep, just a little under, and then you've got your doors, so you're around 25 inches, almost 24.5 inches. So what I've done here is when I fasten this down, I haven't fastened it down yet because I want to be able to do around the edges really nice. I haven't fastened it down yet, but when I do, I'm going to have it so it overhangs the front far enough to cover up the doors, and it's going to overhang the back just a speck. On the back of the cupboard, I went and put 3/8 melamine. And what I did was I got some thin 1/4 inch underlay, basically a plywood. I put strips, 2-inch strips all the way down each side, all the way down each cupboard, across the top, across the bottom. So that when I put the melamine on, then it just looks like it's part of the cupboard. So that's that. Now I'm going to dry it off, and she'll be done. My 5th coat will be done. Every time I do this, do a coat, I get a new rag. Well, actually, a new rag for drying it, not necessarily for putting it on, but a new rag for drying it. So, just finishing up here. Then we're going to get some called PL. And the PL the countertops down. I'll do that tomorrow evening after they've dried. And then I'll put some like silicone around the sink. I had debated on putting an undermount sink, but I looked at the sink, and the sink actually looks nice. So I think having an above mount sink should look fine. So I'm going to put some silicone around the sink, silicone the sink down, put the taps on, grab the plumbing underneath, get it finished, or redone, I guess. And then we're good to go. Had to drill a hole through here for the tap. This is such an easy job to do. Anybody can do it. And it's all uniformed. Like I say, when I did it the first time, I looked at it and you can see how it looked nice, but then you saw spots where it was, you can see it was overlapped and still a little wet, and wasn't drying, sticky. This is the method right here. Regardless of what you see online, whatever you see everybody else doing, this is the way you want to do it. Because this is the perfect method. I'm going to take these gloves off now, and I'll let you take a closer look at this countertop. Okay, there's the countertop, finished. If you look at it, you'll see everything's nice and uniformed. Everything's evenly drying. You don't see any areas where it's overlapping. Everything's just perfectly drying. My second countertop, nice and even. Everything's nice. There's my butcher block that's going to go on the counter. There's my third countertop. And like I say, when it comes to food ready, this is what I'm using temporarily. And this is not a safe countertop to use. I don't know what kind of countertop you got in your off-grid home, but this is not what you want. This is actually the third time I've used a countertop like this. Basically getting it prepared, getting the cupboards in, and waiting for the granite to show up. But that's not the case this time. This time it's butcher block countertop. Anyways, thanks for watching. We'll talk to you in the next video.